representative. I provided my personal opinion on, I don't believe that there's anyone working on a survey crew, a modern survey crew, that's a manual laborer. And I know I wasn't alone in that opinion. So we'll see where that goes.
All right, keep an eye on that and let us know. I think the next item on our agenda would be the minutes from our last meeting. Does anybody have any comments or corrections on the minutes?
I will
Make a
move
motion to
approval.
approve.
Oh,
I'll second it.
Thank you, Al. A motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting. And all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. I believe that covers all of the surveying items, unless I missed one that somebody can tell me on our supplemental. We have Curtis's comments. That's good. We covered the items on our regular agenda and our supplemental agenda, and we covered the minutes. So with that, I would say we concluded our surveying items. And Ken and Bob, thank you for appearing, and you're welcome to stay, obviously, but you're also welcome to leave and get back to work.
I'm leaving on a business trip on Thursday, so I'm going to leave because I got a bunch of stuff I
Got
have.
stuff to do. Okay.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
See you
I
guys
wish
in a
everybody
month.
Have a good 4th of July.
You all too.
Take care. Bye.
All right. I think we move into our regular agenda items for Class 1 Credit Part 1. I reviewed the first group of applicants. There were 8 for Class 1 Credit Part 1. I reviewed each of them and would accept the recommendation, or I would recommend approval. So is there a motion to accept my recommendation to approve Banks through Sweeney for Class 1 exam Credit Part 1?
So move.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Bob Doan reviewed the next 3 applicants for Class 1 exam, Credit Part 1, Nana, Doom, Pepin, and Ballet.
I'll make a motion to approve all 3 with just the note that Nana Doon had a non-equivalent engineering degree. He was missing 4 credits in general ed, but as usual, he had quite a bit more in the engineering aspect of it. So I make a motion to approve all 3.
I'll second.
Thank you, Al. So that was Nana Doom was an evaluation, and he just had a couple of credits missing
Yeah,
for
yeah,
foreign degree.
right.
Right. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Nana Doom, Pepin, and Ballet for Class 1 exam, Credit Part 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. I reviewed the next group of applicants for Class 4 reciprocity. I would note that we had, out of that group of 14, we had 3 foreign degrees, all good evaluations. All the rest were model law engineers, which was interesting. Only a couple of masters, though. So I would recommend approval of Ali through Young on page 4 for Class 4 reciprocity. Is there a motion to accept my recommendation?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And we have the long group of applicants from Agarwal through Vane on page 5 for Class 4 reciprocity. reviewed by Rob Lewandowski.
Yeah, when I received it, Barbara, I thought I had a gift there, but then I opened it up and I found a pile of paper, so.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I reviewed all of those. Eventually, I'll recommend all for approval, but there are 4 non-model law candidates. The first one was Preeti Agarwal. She was, I assume non-model law, foreign degree from India with a master's degree from San Jose State University. She was short 8 credit hours in general ed and short 8 hours in math and science, but that math and science didn't include her master's degree, which had 30 hours of engineering. And her undergrad degree had an extra 21 hours of engineering. So we're looking at almost 51 extra hours of engineering. Somehow they considered her short 8 in math and science. So even with that, I was recommending for approval. The second one was David Shad, non-model law based on a bachelor's in physics, did have a master's degree in civil engineering and a PhD in civil engineering. NCES evaluated as equivalent. So I stopped evaluating there. Mano Hendu Sirka was non-model law based upon a foreign degree from India. Also had a master's degree from University of Maryland. Again, not included in the NCES evaluation. NCES said not equivalent because they were shy gen ed by 9 credits. So again, was looking past that and recommending for approval. And then the last one was Rohit Sonai, also foreign degree from India again. NCES said not equivalent, was 8 credits short in general education, but again, not including their master's degree from North Carolina State University. So consistent with what the board's been doing with the non-model law, not equivalent. I do recommend all of them for approval. The balance were all model law, very straightforward applications with good experience. So I do recommend all for approval.
I'll second.
Thank you, Al. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Agarwal through Vane on page 5 of our regular agenda for reciprocity, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Richard Swezak reviewed Abacker through Kraus for class 4 reciprocity on page 5.
I'm gonna recommend approval for all of them, and just some side notes in terms of Bakar had a degree from the Sudan, which was deemed equivalent. Juan Nicholas Bentayan Kerr had a degree from Colombia, which was deemed equivalent. And Desmond Green had a degree from Ireland, which was just 3 credit hours short in sciences. But with that said, and I did have Thomas Roden Thalen did have a DWI in 2011, but that's long gone and really didn't have a, any bearing on, the decision making. So I recommend that we approve all
Thank you, Richard.
how many of, let me count them. I think there's 14.
So is there a
I'll second
second to the motion to approve Abacker through Kraus for class 4 reciprocity?
I'll second.
Thank you, John. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. John DeWolf reviewed the next group of applicants on page 5, Alco, Atwater, and Bell, and then Chadwick through Williams on page 6.
The most interesting thing I had is a couple of them, their license expires this month. But I recommend approval of the whole group.
Second,
I'll second.
Thank you, Robert. John, that was pretty boring then, huh?
That's okay.
All right. So it has been moved and seconded to approve applicants Alco through Bell on page 5 and Chadwick through Williams on page 6 for class 4 reciprocity. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing on that, motion carries. Then Richard Swezak reviewed Kuzilla through Wolforst for class 4 reciprocity on page 6.
And just a couple of notes in terms of, I'm going to recommend all, 8 to be or 9 to be approved. Ganesh Narasimhan had a degree from India, which was 3 credit hours short. And that Gregory Sherman had 2 DWIs, one in 2005 and one in 2012, but somehow he's changed his life around. So we're going to give him another chance. So I recommend that we allow, accept all applications, all 9 of them.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. It just shows you how stressful engineering can be.
I know.
Literally driven to drink. Not a good situation. Without further discussion, all those in favor of the motion to approve Kuzilla through Wolforst for class 4 reciprocity on page 6, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing on that, motion carries. Bob Doan reviewed the applicants for class 4 reciprocity are DeBilly through Rebocchio on page 6 and Syed through Uribe on page 7.
okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve them all, but 3 of them were non-model law. One was from Millsaps College in Jackson, Mississippi, which is not an ABET degree. It was evaluated by NCEES and found to be equivalent.
Which applicant was that, Bob?
Pardon me? Oh, that was for Broussard, Dylan Broussard. And the Saeed Asif was evaluated. He was missing 7 credits in general ed, but again, an overwhelming amount of engineering courses, etc. So I will approve him. And Mark Uri, the last candidate, had a felony conviction, which we have no details of, but it was reviewed by CHRO, and they have said that the incident has no bearing on obtaining a license, or should have no bearing on obtaining a license. So I'll go along with their recommendation and make a motion to approve the entire group for class 4 licenses.
I have a question. What was Broussard's degree?
Broussard's degree, hold on just a second, Jen. The school was, it's a Bachelor of Science in Engineering Studies.
And where from?
From Millsaps College
And it's
in
not,
Jackson, Mississippi.
okay, but it's not accredited then.
Yes, that's correct.
But it is, it was recommended then that it is equivalent.
It was reviewed by NCES. And they were, they summarized it and they have no deficiencies.
Good. Okay, just curious.
Hey, Bob, what's CHRO?
Oh, it's the
We forget the
Human
name, but
Resource.
it's,
It's a DEP, a Department of
Yeah.
Consumer Protection, actually.
CHRO is the Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities. So they would make sure, like say a felony conviction, that that individual's rights are protected when they're going to apply for a job or before the board here.
So they're representing the individual, not necessarily the state or the board, right?
Also, so CHRO has their own set of statutes and regulations, and there's some statutes about relevancy in a conviction when you're trying to get a license. So they would look at that and they would say, you know, this is not relevant, like as Mr. Doan indicated, that conviction, whatever it was, is not relevant to that profession.
And that's an agency we can rely on?
Yeah,
Or
it's Connecticut.
their
It's a
opinion?
Connecticut agency. Yep, yep.
That's a quasi or
No,
a
no,
full
that's
Connecticut?
that's a full Connecticut agency. Yeah. Yep.
Rob, in the past, when we've had, convictions and other problems, whatever, they've evaluated whether or not the punishment has been served and therefore it's over with, such as the DUI or whatever this felony conviction was. But we've had several over the years, none too recently, but
Yeah, my question was more so, is that a agency we can rely on their opinion, or is it our board?
I think it's that
counselor?
maybe I'm mistaken, but the Connecticut Human Resources Office, I don't know if that's what it is, the CHRO, but we're guided by that, right, Mr. Grabowski?
Yeah. So yeah, the Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities is what it's called.
Opportunities,
And,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You paid your dues and now you're deemed acceptable to pursue whatever license that you're seeking. That was a good question. I've lost track quite honestly. We have a motion to approve Arvadelli through Roboco and Syed through Uribe. I don't know if we had a second.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Thank you, Al. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Arvadelli through Roboco and Syed through Uribe, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries, which brings us through to our next group of applicants, which were for Class 9 license, Banks through Zakarowitz. Is there a motion to approve the license for the EIT?
So move.
Thank you, John. A
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you,
I'll
Rob.
second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And then that leads us to our authorization for the corporate practice of professional engineering that were so carefully reviewed by our administrator, Barbara Sipp. And she has recommended that each of them has met the requirements for corporate registration. They are listed on page 7, Gibbs and Cox Inc., and on page 8, Kittleson and Associates Inc., through Ryan A. and E. Inc., and on page 9, Selective Site Consultants Inc., through Verano Tobinsky LLC. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation of our administrator to approve each of them for the corporate practice of professional engineering.
So moved.
Thank you, Robert.
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Then we had 3 reinstatements on our regular agenda, which are Stephen Stafford completed a new application, has been continuously licensed. We had Julie Vares, continuously licensed in another state. And Wilfred Laus, also continuously licensed in another state. First 2, Stafford and Bears, were reviewed by Richard Swezak.
I did take a look at their applications and they were in order. They did have, I guess a signed and sealed letter that said that they did not sign or seal any drawings in the state of Connecticut. They were working in another state, and I'll make a motion that we approve their reinstatement applications.
Thank you, Richard. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And last one was Wilfred Laus, reviewed by Bob Doan.
I reviewed Wilfred Laus and there's no notarized letter, but he does have a statement on his application or his answer to question number 6, which is, have you signed or sealed any documents in Connecticut since your license expired? And he answers no. So if we want to accept it without a notarized letter, then I make a motion to approve.
Yeah, that application is, he did an online, so we kind of have to accept it. He's attesting to the fact that he hasn't signed or sealed, because that was an online application that he did.
Thank you, Barbara.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Al. All those in favor of the motion to approve Wilfred Laus for reinstatement, recognizing that there was a online application, no notarization. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. I believe that completes our regular agenda, which brings us to the supplemental. We had 2 applicants for Class 1 Credit Part 1, Fontaine and Sorna, reviewed by Bob Doan.
Okay, I make a motion to approve both for Class 1 exam credit Part 1.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. John DeWolf reviewed Cash and Vineyard for Class 1 exam credit Part 1.
I move approval.
Thank you, John. So
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you,
I'll
Rob.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. The last applicant under Class 1 exam credit Part 1 was Matthew Baldino, reviewed by Richard Swezak.
I reviewed his application and find that he meets the criteria by a half a month of experience. So I'll make a motion that we accept his application.
Is there a second? Thank you, Robert. All those in favor of the motion to approve Matthew Baldino, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Now we have, this is the Class 11. This is a structural exam.
No, they've taken exams in other states and have passed both exams, but are looking for their
Oh,
first license.
1 and 2. Yeah, I get confused. Okay, sorry. So they passed both exams.
And seeking their initial license in Connecticut.
They're just looking for the license to be in Connecticut. That's it?
It'll be their first license, yes. So they're looking for their first license. Eliza, for example, she took her exam in California, but in order to get licensed, she would have to take the structural specific exam in California
Oh,
to get her license there, as an example.
But Barbara, Mohammed Sharif has didn't he have a PE in Massachusetts and Mass?
He was not issued a license in Massachusetts, but he took the exam there.
He passed the exam, but
That is correct. Yes,
he did not. Okay.
that's
why
correct.
would the license not be issued then? Is there a
Each-
reason?
Yeah, sometimes each state board may have a state-specific exam that they must sit for or so forth, like these two individuals, and that would be the reason why. Or some other variation of their regulations or statute. But they do meet our statutes at this
Yeah,
time,
they-
or our regulations, yes.
So I can see in California, they want them to take the structural exam. Is that right? For seismic in California?
Correct.
But in Massachusetts, I was never aware of them having a specific for the engineering.
I didn't realize that either.
Is that
Yeah.
something that,
No, well, there were some other specifications I would have to look into, but he has met all the requirements, so I wasn't exactly sure why for Massachusetts, to be honest. Between reading his, there was some stipulation in their regulations at the time. Sometimes it has to do with citizenship. Sometimes it has to do with, like New York has, like we've had.
yeah, New
issues
York used
before.
to do that.
Yeah, which they still do. So,
All right, well, if he
I-
wants to take the exam, he wants to take the exam, so he's gonna take it. Right, Bob? So Bob Dome reviewed the two applicants. The recommendation is to approve.
Yes, approve their license. They've taken both exams and they have passed. They have the appropriate education. And I make a motion to approve for a Class 1 license.
Second,
But this notation is a little bit different. Like, we're not gonna permit them to take the exam. He's already passed the exam.
They've already passed them.
So it's really to,
we
Issue
permitted
a
them,
license.
right, but we're crediting both parts of the exam and approving a license. That's why it's listed separately.
okay,
So it sounds like they applied to California to
Right.
take the exam. California approved them to take the exam. The exam's the same as Connecticut would issue. So we
Correct.
recognize that whole process, including the exam and the score, and we're issuing them a license. Same
That's
for
correct.
That's correct.
Massachusetts.
That's correct.
and that's why we're crediting parts 1 and 2. Okay,
Correct.
I got it now. But he's not actually going to sit for an exam.
That's
That is-
correct.
That
Okay,
is correct.
so it's been moved. It's not quite a reciprocity because they never actually got the license in California
Correct.
or Massachusetts.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Took me a while, but I got it now. Is there a second to the motion by Robert Doan to
second.
approve?
I'll second.
Thank you, John. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Then we had 4 more requests for reciprocity under Class 4, Chartier, Fleming, Gdansky, and Palmer, reviewed by Bob Doan.
Which I don't have, Barbara. I can't,
Oh.
I didn't find them in any of my emails. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I got all your other emails, but I don't know why I didn't get that one.
I know, I resent it twice and it went out on Saturday as well, so
Yeah,
I sent it to you this morning, so we'll just have to figure something else out from, for the time being.
I'd be happy to review them and then send my recommendations around to everybody if you'd like.
let's do it that way.
Yeah,
So we can move them rather than hold them up.
exactly. Okay.
And the other one was Jerome McKenzie, reviewed by Richard Swezak.
Did look at his application. He is not NCAAS he's not registered with NCAAS. And he has 40 years of experience. He graduated from Northeastern in 1982. He has passed his, fundamentals and principles of engineering. The only thing that was missing is that the verification from the Northeastern did not have the registrar's school seal on it. And, and again, not that we question that he didn't graduate, but, just as a technicality, I didn't see the fact that it had if it was embossed, maybe it didn't show up on the PDF, but there was not any kind of a seal that sort of certified that it was done by the registrar.
I did get it from the registrar's office, so it came directly from them when I did
All
get
right.
the information. Yeah.
All right, because on the lower right-hand corner, there's, a little box that says,
Yeah.
you need that seal there, and I didn't see that seal there, so.
Yeah.
If it's there, then it's fine, then, I make a recommendation based upon the fact that we just verified that, the registrar's seal or that I guess verification from the Northeastern was from the registrar, so.
Is there a second to the motion to approve?
Second,
Thank you, Robert. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Jerome McKenzie for Class 4 reciprocity, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Rob Lewandowski reviewed Vance Kerrigan and Nicholas Jananto for Class 4 reciprocity.
Yeah, both model law, both good experience, good degrees, straightforward applicants. I recommend approval.
Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And except for the 4 that we'll look at after Bob Doan reviews them, Chartier, Fleming, Dansky, and Palmer. I think that concludes our agendas. Unless there's more items for discussion or new business.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Al.
Second.
Thanks, John. Everybody, appreciate it. And yes, I go along with whoever said it about the present, who had the gift coming from Barbara in this 2x2 box. Scared me a little bit, but I will say those applicants applications were voluminous.
yeah.
I don't know why. Sometimes they got everything and that they did in their entire career listed, but that's pretty good.
Hey, Barbara, this is your last meeting with us?
Well, last full meeting, then we'll start weaning off in the next couple of months, but yeah.
Okay. All
yeah,
right, so
so-
we will be seeing you.
Yes, you'll
Okay,
see me next
right.
month, for sure. We still have to get things straightened out and so forth, so yeah.
Explain a little bit more what Verinda's going to be, how does that fit into the whole hierarchy? I just get so confused. Every month we see somebody new, and so she'll be running all of the meetings for all of the boards or guiding what?
So,
Oh, there you are,
Chairman,
still here, good.
yes, I'm still here. I never
I'm
left.
just a little confused as
Yeah,
to every month, Verinda, we see new faces, and so it just is, we're just trying to keep up.
yes. And I understand this can be challenging and it will be challenging in terms of transition, right? For
Yes.
every single board that has highly qualified persons in their profession, as well as, general Connecticut general statutes that are governing the work that you do for consumers. So, I would say to just kind of stay, pliable, relaxed. As Barbara has said, she is retiring, but she will come back, and nothing will be changed right now. So I'd like everyone to take a deep breath. I think at the management level, they're still trying to work out, how that will happen. And it will probably happen one by one,
Right.
Chairman, right? It doesn't mean that I'm going to take over by September. It just doesn't mean that. I've already assessed and evaluated the very specific needs that this board may have just based on your agenda and what the hearing was today. And the fact that Barbara is also in a consultative a role with this board. Every board does not have that specific need, even though every board has a staff attorney and an examiner, et cetera. So I would just say that for all intents and purposes, each chairman and then the board members will be provided transition dates. I'm certainly going to be offering to management, my manager and director, to mention to the commissioner so that she's fully apprised of my assessment of each board meeting, because I will be attending each one and shadowing and picking up things that are very specific to that board culture, right? Barbara has provided some very specific consultative things, and I've not even been trained in terms of the licensing and application review process. So I would just relax in terms of how this thing is going to happen. I'm just shadowing. This may be a board that I won't take over right away. So the only thing I would ask that as you move forward to preparing the next agenda and things of that nature, you do CC me on those communications, okay? And I will send to you, Chairman, my contact information, okay?
Appreciate that.
And then that way, I'm included in terms of visibility, but something formal will come out, and how that is going to be vetted out will come from my director, who's working directly with Commissioner. Okay.
So
But
you see
just
the things that we are concerned about, I think.
absolutely,
For the
I've
board,
assessed it.
are that we have, as you see, a significant number of applicants every month for reciprocity. Those may appear to be somewhat straightforward, but they aren't, because we look at each one to make sure that they're following our policy that was established, because our statutes are not where we want them or need them to be. Okay, so that's one. And the second part is that Barbara has taken a great deal of responsibility on the legal side to evaluate the corporate structure, which none of us are really qualified to do. So backup or background support from an attorney of our board to make that initial review, because we've tried over the years to have a matrix of the different corporate structures, which is confusing at best. So that's very helpful going forward, that now an attorney assigned to us could assist in that, which would streamline it and make sure that we have everything done according to the law.
Oh, absolutely. I concur with that, which is why I'm shadowing. Each board has its own needs. Each board has its own culture. There are 250 potential credentialing licenses and that kind of thing. And so my shadowing today gives me an opportunity to, which I've already done while this meeting was in process, and reviewing your agenda, to point out specific items that is critical to what my colleague has provided in terms not just of administrative support, but subject matter expert support. And so that's not something you want to lose. And again, as she has already stated, nothing is going to happen today. Nothing's going to happen next month. And I can assure you, it probably will not happen in September either. So that's what I'm positioning, because critically, I've already positioned that there should not be major convulsions. We need experienced people in terms of subject matter experts on each and every board, and then what my role would be for each and every board, and when I will assume that for each and every board. So I would just say, hello, great to meet everyone, and more to follow.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Good
Nice
luck.
to meet
We're going to give you good luck. Now, you heard us say it. Good luck.
you. I'm sure we will become friends.
All right, Brenda, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
We've had a motion to adjourn now that we've gotten some reassurance from Brenda. We can comfortably adjourn. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? When is our
Barbara,
next
I
meeting?
did
I know it's on my
get that.
calendar here,
Yeah.
but let's
July
confirm.
12th, July
July
12th.
12th. Thank you very much.
All right. Everybody have a happy Fourth.
Thanks. Have a
All
good
right,
month.
we'll see y'all
everyone.
later.
Happy 4th.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Happy 4th, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.